Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Creating Cards with Debbie. My name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and I'm glad that you're able to join me today. Um, Today is Monday, May 5th, 2025. So I want to welcome you here today. Be sure that you comment when you come on and say hello. It's fun to see who all is here, and if you want, you can say where you're watching me from. That's also interesting. So let me go ahead and turn my camera around, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So hold on tight. Okay, like I said, I'm creating cards with Debbie, and if you want to shop with me, you can shop in my online store. I'll put that banner up here in a moment. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and it is www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And we used to have a host code that we used, but Stampin' Up! Is revised that where we don't need Stampin' Reward, or we don't need a host code anymore. Instead, you'll be getting rewards back on each order that is, well, at least $20. You'll get 10% back, and you can use on your future orders after that first one. So that's a little bit of an added incentive for shopping. And like I said, my store is scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and you can click on that and go buy some products that I'm showing today. All right, so I'm going to start out. I feel like I'm disorganized this morning, so bear with me. Let's talk about Paper Pumpkin. Our Paper Pumpkin kit, whoops, upside down, for May is called Mountain Majesties, and you have until May 10th to subscribe for this one. And it says celebrate Father's Day, birthdays, and beyond. So it's real good for man cards. And let me see. Here I am shuffling papers. Okay, so a little bit about this one. It says Mountain Majesties. You got until May 10th to subscribe. And it says create Father's Day cards with layered mountain landscapes, which you can see the landscapes. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with 9 coordinating envelopes, pre-cut vellum and paper pieces, watercolor card bases, and coordinating envelopes. The stamping spot that you'll get with this kit is going to be the Misty Moonlight. So it looks like a real pretty one for the men in your life. And along with that, you can add on the coordinating dies, and these are called Hugs of Bloom dies. And it shows the May. Well, we had April was the word hugs, and then May, and then June is the leaf and flower. So you can get that. Item number is 166238, and it's $12 for that. But you have to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. So you could subscribe to the May Paper Pumpkin kit and get the dies along with that. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. So here's our Paper Pumpkin website I'm showing on the screen to sign up for that one. And along with the Paper Pumpkin kits, you'll also get $2 in rewards along with that. So that's a little bit of an added incentive. All right, and right now we've got our last chance products going on. You can shop in my store, and it has a column that says last chance products. And what those are is all the items that are last chance. And you can get those at some are at a reduced price. So you want to check that out. I'm going to be using some of those items today too, so I'll be talking about those as we go along. And we're starting a brand new catalog starting tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow. Yeah, May 6th, 2025. We have our new annual catalog, and this is from May 2025 to April 2026. So this is our annual catalog, our large catalog that's good for a year. So I can't show you the inside until tomorrow, but here's the cover of it. And you kind of get a sneak peek of some of the things that are in there. And I can show you the back side also, which is very colorful. So that starts tomorrow. And we've also got new colors that are coming out in this kit. And they are going to be, see if I can remember the colors here. This one is the Darling Duckling. This one is Timid Tiger. And then we've got Strawberry Slush, which is a returning color from the past. And then we've got Secret Sea, which is a real dark gray kind of. And then we've also got Cloud Cover, but this will not be available in the stamp set because they had some chemical problems that it wasn't showing the true color that they wanted. Stampin' Up wants everything to be just right, so they pulled the stamp pad back, but they will have the re-inkers. So I'm thinking what I am going to do is I'm going to take my white craft stamping pad that you get, the pad, and then it comes with the white re-inker. But I'm going to buy the re-inker for the cloud cover, and I'm going to ink up one of these pads to use for it. So that's an option. You also have the small stamping spots that are no color in them. You can use those to add some of the ink to it too. So we can get by. It's kind of a disappointment, but we can get by, make do. All right. And right now, during the month of May, Stampin' Up has got a new starter special going on where you can get your starter kit. And it runs from May 6th until May 31st. And it says new demonstrators get $165 worth in products for only $99. And that's with free shipping. So this is our biggest starter kit special. And it's available only for a limited time, like I said, until May 31st. So you can pack it with $165 worth of products of your choice, and you only pay $99, and that's an extra $66 in products that you get. So that's a bargain. And after you put in that order and you get your following orders after that, you'll receive a discount on your orders of 20 to 25% discount. And you'll also have early access to products that are coming out before anybody else does. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm willing to answer any questions you might have about that. You don't have to do what I do. You could just do it to get your discount on your product. Just be a hobbyist shopper. All right. And also, today is the last day of our mini catalog. So if there's anything in there that you wanted, you might want to jump on that right away today. So I think that's all the news I have to talk about. Let me take some of these banners down so we can make room to see what I'm doing. And we're going to do 3 cards today. We've got one fun fold, and the others are just the regular cards. And I'm using let me get my things over here so I can reach. I'm using all right, I gotta stand up and reach something here. My arms aren't long enough. Okay, the Sweet Jar. And this is a bundle. It's got the punch and the die. There are stamps and the punch. I'm getting a lot of glare there, so I turn this so you can see it without the glare. So that's the stamp and punch that we're using today. And I'm also going to be using the Memorable Blooms, easy for me to say. And this is in the last chance section too, so it's going away as soon as they're sold out. Available while supplies last. All right, I think I've covered everything. I feel like I'm forgetting something though. I don't know what it would be. All right, so let's start out with our fun fold card first. And let me get all my bits and pieces out here, move some things away, out of my way, make some room. All right. So this is our fun fold. It says a little treat for you is stamped on each of the jars there. And it's a happy birthday card. And it's going to open like this and again like this. And on the inside, it says sending a little sweetness your way. And don't those cookies look good? Chocolate chip cookies. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with that. Oh, my nose itches. My mom used to say, somebody's talking about you, but I've heard some say you're going to kiss a fool, so I'm not sure which one it is. Just that my nose itches. All right, we're going to start out with our Lost Lagoon cardstock, and this measures 4 1/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches, and I've scored it already at 2 3/4 inches. So we're going to fold that over, and we're going to get our bone fold, and we're going to burnish that fold. And this is going to go like this. And our next one is our Lost Lagoon, and this one measures 2 3/4 inches by 8 1/2 inches, and then it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. So let's go ahead and fold that. Let me bring my comments back up here so I can keep up with those. And we're going to burnish that fold line. And this one's going to sit on here like so. So the one fold is on the left side and the small fold is on the right side. We're going to set those aside. We're going to bring over our designer series paper, and I am using Everyday Happiness 12 by 12 designer series paper, and this is in the scrapbooking brochure, the January 2025, and there is a section in my store too that you can click on that. But anyway, I'm using this design here and this design here. So the item number on this paper is 166632. And that's also in the description of my video, so you can find it there. All right, and we're going to bring over our bits and pieces here. All right, we're going to start out with our basic white, and that is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. That's going to go into our inside layer. And then I've got our designer series paper that's going to go with that, and that's going to be 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. So we're going to go ahead and attach those two together. And I'm going to use my liquid glue, my Tombow. I love this paper. You can use it for scrapbooking. You can use it for card making, any of your paper crafts. And Stampin' Up! Has also got some new scrapbooking kits. Whoops, this one's a little too long, I think. Let's see, what did I measure that at? Yeah, this is too long. I need to cut it down to size. So, I'm going to get glue all over everything. I'm going to try not to. I need this to be 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. 4 inches by 5 1/4. I gave the wrong measurement here. And this isn't going to be easy. All right. I'm going to have to clean off the glue off of my cutter here afterwards. All right, is that better? So we're starting out already with messing up here. So they will get the boo-boos out of the way, the oopsies. And I need to move that just a tiny bit more. Try not to get my head in the camera. All right, there we go. I've got glue on my fingers. All right, so this is going to go onto our larger card for the inside. I have that right? Yeah, thought maybe I measured wrong on that too, but it looks right. So let's put our glue on here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Ours was good. No complaints. All right, and keeping a small border going around the edges. Still trying to get the glue off my fingers. All right, so this is going to fold down on top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do our front flap. And I want to make sure. Okay, so I've got 3 of the basic white that I cut. Those are 2 5/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches, and we need 3 of those. And then I've got the Designer Series paper. This is going to go on the front flap, and this is going to go on this flap right here. So those both are measuring at 4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. Is that right? Yeah, 4 inches by 2 1/2. So I've got 2 of those, and I'm using the checkered pattern and the flowered pattern. So let's get those out of the way for a moment. And we're going to bring this over and put on our front flap. So let's go ahead and attach those down to our card. And it doesn't look right. Have I messed up on my measuring that bad? Okay, 2 1/2 by 4. And this one is 2 5/8. So why isn't it? Something's not right here. Let's get some more glue over here. This is what not to do. All right, large flap inside. 4 by 2 1/2. Back into this up. I'm going to go a little smaller. Yeah. I can't get my paper off of there. Oh, okay. It's one of those days. And it's by 4. I'm going to check my other one too, in case I have to cut that down before I put glue on it. All right. So I cut that down to, looks like 2 7/16. That doesn't sound right, but we're going to go with it. And this is going to go onto our front flap. I'm going to remeasure that other one before I glue it down. And this goes on that front flap. Nothing like starting out my video right away, having mistakes. I guess that's all part of it. All right, are these all the same size? Yeah, they're all the same size. And this one is 2.5. 2 5/8. It should fit. I must just cut that one wrong. Now that one fits perfect, so it was only the one I had messed up. All right. Okay, so let's bring our small fold over here and let's put this on there. I love this Lost Lagoon. It's so soft and calming. And that's going to go on that front flap with your opening or your fold on the right side. Okay. The house is quiet this morning. The hubby is off mowing the grass at the church, so he's occupied. Okay, so that's going to go onto our card front with the inside flap on the inside of the small one. But we're not done with that one yet, so we're going to continue here. And I'm going to go ahead and do the inside first. So bring my stamps over here. And I'm going to be using the Sending a Little Blank Your Way. And I'm going to do that with our Lost Lagoon. Yeah, I still have the old pad from the Lost Lagoon. I haven't replaced it with the new pads yet. So I'll keep using this until I can't use it anymore. All right, this is going to go in the upper right-hand corner. And putting right stamp. I'm going to put Sending a Little Sweetness Your Way. And I'm going to stamp that using my pecan pie, or early espresso, I mean. And it's going to stamp, oops, right in between. Like so. Close these up so I don't make a mess. No accidents allowed. We've already had enough boo-boos going on today. All right. And then I'm going to set that aside for a minute. We're going to stamp some cookies on that, but not right now. Let's go back to our card front. And I have a scrap of white here. Let me grab one of these for now. We're going to stamp 2 of the jars. And we're going to punch them out afterwards. So let's get our punch lined up here, how we want to stamp. So I'm going to stamp these using the Lost Lagoon. And one there. I don't know if I can fit another one beside it. Yeah, it's kind of close, but I'm going to go ahead and I'll punch that out first. get those lined up. So it punches out the jar and the top of the jar, the lid, all at the same time. So let me set that aside for a moment and see if we can't squeeze another one beside there. Save a little paper. I think maybe I can. All right, got those punched out. Well, leave that open. Do some stamping with that yet. Get myself organized here. We're going to stamp our lids. And we're going to stamp our sentiment inside of the jars first. It's going to say a little treat for you. And I'm using the Lost Lagoon again. And we're just going to stamp that right at the upper portion of our jar. On both of them. I did one a little bit lower because we're going to be putting a bow above that one. So I don't want it covering the words too much. And then I'm going to stamp the lid using the Lost Lagoon. We're stamping right on those punch outs for the lid. All right. And going to move those. And now we're going to stamp our cookies. I'll also stamp my sentiment there while I've got the ink pad out. And we're going to say happy birthday. Bring that scrap of paper back over here. And I'll just stamp it in the top here. And it's a little bit crooked. Try that again. That one's better. I've got a bird that's hanging in my craft room window here, right in front of me. I'm not sure what kind it is. It's yellow looking bird. Looks sort of like a parakeet, but it's got a different beak on it. And it's got like gray wings a little bit. So I don't know what kind it is, but he thinks he's supposed to come in the house or whatever. He keeps knocking on my window here, and he's sitting on my glider out there, and he's making a mess on it. So he's kind of cute, but he can be destructive there. All right, we're going to bring our cookies over here, and we're going to stamp those using, got the wrong one here. I think I need this one. I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, this is the one I need. This is the background for it. We don't use that today. Switch them out, and I'm going to bring over my pecan pie to stamp our cookies. And I'm going to stamp on each of our jars here. And again on the inside layer, down in the bottom left corner. My chair's squeaking. It's rubbing against my desk or something. All right, we're done with the pecan pie. We can close that up. And we're going to bring back our early espresso to put those chips in those cookies. And that's this one here, the little dotted one. When I first got this stamp set, I didn't know what in the world that one was used for. I thought it was just a background stamp, but it's for the chocolate chips and the cookies. And let's do our 2 jars of cookies. I don't know why my chair is rubbing against my desk. All right, line those up again. And close up that ink pad. All right, now we can start putting this card together. So let's bring the front of our card back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the inside layer first. We'll have that done. Make sure you put them right side. It goes like this. Oops, I had it wrong. It goes this way. Well, yeah. Put it on the left side. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this. So I'm going to put my glue on the back side of that small fold, small card. And make sure it's opening the right way. So it's going to go like this. And lay it in there and get it centered. And scooch that corner down just a little bit and straighten it up. And press it down. It's going to go back like this and then like that. All right, so now we're going to add our cookie jars. And I'm going to put one glued down and the other one I'm going to put on dimensionals to raise it up a little bit. But the one on the left is just glued down straight. Well, glued at an angle, I should say. And I'll put the lid on that one. And I'm going to line that up on top of the jar. And this one I'm going to put up on dimensionals. And I need to open a new package of dimensionals here, I guess. I used up the last of the last sheet. All right, get my take your pick tool to grab those. And I don't know if the camera's picking up that bird singing, but he's pounding on my window again. I guess he thinks he's my friend or something. I don't know. He's a cute little guy. And pop off those backings. I didn't put my wastebasket over here. So just lay my trash off to the side here. All right, and this one I'm going to put over the other one, but I'm going to put it at an angle a little bit. And position that. And I'm going to run a strip of glue across the top of that jar to attach our lid. Tap, tap, tap to hold it down in place. There we go. All right, and then we're going to bring back our sentiment over here, and we're going to cut that down. If I can use my cutter that's all full of glue. I'm not able to stick to it yet. And can I get it back out of there without sticking? I have got a mess on this. I'm going to have to clean it off when I'm done. Nothing like having glue all over your paper trimmer. Well, get it to let go again. Come on, let go. That'd have been such a smart idea. All right. And I'm going to run this through the Lost Lagoon stamp pad to color the edges a little bit. Give it a little dimension. And it's going to dip it in there to get the edges. And all four sides. So here we have it. I don't know. Guess the camera's picking that up. Let's get that stamp pad. And then we're going to attach that to the front of our card. And I'm going to place it at an angle. Oh, I forgot to put something on here, but that's okay. It's too late now. I can't squeeze it in there. This one's going to be a little bit different from my original. I forgot to put a layer of Designer Series paper down on the front. I'll show you what I did wrong in a minute. Okay, we're going to set that across at an angle over our flap. And I didn't need glue on the back side, so I'm going to rub some of that off. So I just put glue from this side over, not the entire thing, like I did. All right, and I'm missing something here. I have a bow. Yeah. So here's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to put this at the bottom underneath my jars, but I didn't do that. I forgot about it. And I'm going to use the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. And this is a 5-pack, but I've only got 3 in this one. So it comes in different colors. I think I'm missing the black and white one. So it's, I guess, beige and vanilla and gray. But I didn't make my bow ahead of time, so I'm going to do that now with my bow jig. And I'm going to make a triple bow. So I wrap that around 3 times. And tie that. Grab my ribbon scissors over here, snip that. And I'm going to use a mini glue dot that comes with my paper pumpkins. And it's the right size for these linen thread and such. So I'm going to put this onto my lid. And we'll add our triple bow to that. And we're going to add some gems, which are the basic gray and smoky slate pearls. I take your pick tool, use the putty end, and then we're going to grab one of each size here. So we're going to put one up here, another on that flap, and then we're going to use a small one that's going to go down in this bottom corner of this one. right. Make sure I didn't forget nothing. Okay, so here's our fun fold for today. A little treat for you. Happy birthday. And it opens like this, sending a little sweetness your way. So even after all the boo-boos, it turned out okay. So it should have been with the designer series paper at the bottom, but I didn't do that. It looks okay, I think. All right, so let's go on to our second card. And I'm going to clean my stamps before I continue here. So let me get my Simply Chamois out here, and we're going to do some stamp scrubbing. I don't want to contaminate the next ink pads on this one because we're using a different color. So start out with a clean stamp. And all right, I think we've got those taken care of. Okay, so here's our second card. It says Miss You Bunches up here in the corner. And I'm using the Lost Lagoon again. And then You've Been on My Mind is coming from the Memorable Blooms, which I said is on the last chance list. All right. So let me get my instructions. And hopefully I don't have any goof ups on this one. Get some things out of the way here so I've got room to work. Okay, we're using the Lost Lagoon paper again, cardstock. And this is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. And I've already scored that. So we're going to burnish that fold line. My bone folder. And I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And I've got that same designer series paper pack that I'm using. And I'm using this pattern here. Right down here in the bottom corner. And this measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And that's going to go onto the card front, but I'm going to add some things to that first before I glue that down. I've also cut some strips of that Lost Lagoon, and these are measuring 1/4 inch by about 8 1/2 inches, and I've got 3 of those. So these are going to go at an angle across our designer series paper. So I'm going to go ahead and start gluing those down. And let me grab my silicone mat over here so I don't get glue everywhere. Okay, so flip them over and do the back side. So we're going to set that down, cutie corner across that. And I think I'm going to scooch it just a little bit. I should have done the center one first, I guess. But we'll improvise here. So put this one on the center. I think I've got this one a little bit crooked. Maybe, no, I guess we're good. Oopsie. There. And then our third and final one is going to go next to those. Turn this so I can get a better angle of it. right. We're going to trim off the excess, the edges. So let's bring our scissors over here. I'm going to use my older paper snips so I don't get glue on my good ones. So we're going to turn that over and just snip these corners off. Yeah. The scissors are getting dull. Might be too much glue on them. Get the trash out of the way. And we'll flip that over, and that looks good. Okay, now that's going to go onto our card front. So we'll go ahead and attach that. And I'm going to see if I can't snip those a little bit more. Even the back side of the paper is pretty. And we're using the backside pattern to stamp our jars on, so you'll have some of that showing on our next area. Okay, and that's going to go onto the front of our card. Press that down. So here we are so far. Now we're going to go on to our next layer, and I'm using the Spotlight on Nature dies, and I've already die cut those out. And that's the Lost Lagoon, and then I cut another one with the basic white with the, I'll get those out here. This one is this one, and this one is that one. I did those ahead of time. So we'll go ahead and glue those together. And we're going to center that onto our Lost Lagoon layer. All right. And we're going to place that on dimensionals. So let's bring them back over here. And we'll add those. I think I want to put a couple more. I don't want it wobbling. And we got a new sheet of dimensionals there. We can afford to use them. Okay, so let's take those backings off. I take your pick tool because I don't have any fingernails to use. And bring our card back over. And make sure that we're opening right. I don't want it to be upside down. And I'm going to place that in the center. Like so. And now we're going to work on our stamping of our jars. And bring that out here. So let me bring my paper pack over here. And it's this paper that we're using. And I'm going to just stamp our jar on here using our Lost Lagoon ink pad. And I forget which area I want to use. I'm thinking I want to stay with this darker Lost Lagoon over here. So I'm going to snip this off, get it out of my way. Ink up our jar and stamp that. And you can't see where I'm stamping. There we go. And bring our punch back over here. And it's not giving me enough room here. Come on. I need to fold that back, I guess, out of the way. Nope, it isn't going to let me. Let's fold it back. I don't want to cut it off if I don't have to. All right, that's going to work. And punch. Get my lid out of there. All right, so we're going to stamp our cookies using that same stamp. And near the bottom of the cookie jar. And I'm going to stamp our lid also with that Lost Lagoon. Oop, I didn't mute my phone. There. And oops. Pop that right out of the case there. Let me fix that later. I'm going to bring my chips back over here, and we're going to do those using the Lost Lagoon. And I'm thinking it will still show up. Yeah. Not sure what kind of chips those are. All right. And move those out of the way. We're going to bring our card back over here, and we're going to attach our cookie jar and our lid. And I'm going to set it at an angle, just a little bit. If you're watching the video on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button, and you'll be notified when I go live or when I post a new video. And if you're watching me on Facebook, be sure you hit the like and the share button. I'd appreciate that. Facebook likes that when we do that. All right, and now I need my sentiment, which says, miss you bunches. And I'm going to use my Lost Lagoon to stamp our sentiment. It's going to go up in the top right-hand corner. All right, and then I have a ribbon, a bow that I've made already with the white what is it called? Just white ribbon. I've already made the bow, so we're going to attach that using our mini glue dots and our regular ones over here. And I'm going to pick one up on the back of our bow. You might take your pick tool to pop that off of there. And it's going to go at the bottom here. I'm trying to figure which way to go. Seeing how my bow is laying here. And I'm going to kind of put it at a little bit of an angle. You don't want it straight. And we'll trim off the tails. And I like to cut the tails at an angle. All right. And I'm going to use some Wink of Stella to bling up our jar and lid a little bit. Just adds a little bit of something. All right. And on the inside, we've got our sentiment along with our designer series paper. And this measures 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to, instead of putting it on the bottom, I'm going to put it at the top, but I'm going to stamp my sentiment first to make sure I don't mess up with it. Because if I mess up, then I'll have to turn it over. And it's just easier to do the stamping first. Great. I got a little bit of, where'd the ink come from? See, I've already got an ink smudge, so I need to turn it over. Must have been on my finger or something. This is going to go at the bottom, a little bit different. And then we attach our designer series paper to the top. So tomorrow everybody can start ordering out of the new catalog. How exciting. And as a demonstrator, we weren't able to order everything in our pre-order, which was a month ago. So I'm kind of anxious to be able to order things that I wanted out of the catalog that weren't available on that order. So oops, paper snips, trim off that excess. Now we can put that on the inside of our card. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this. The basic weight is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Just our standard size on the inside. Okay. I don't think I put anything else now. Just that. So here's our second card, Miss You Bunches. And on the inside, it says, You've been on my mind. So, very cute. Hope y'all like that one. All right, so again, let me clean up my stamps here with my Simply Chamois. Because we got to use them again on our third card. It only takes a minute here to be all clean and tidy. With the Simply Chamois, all it is you just rinse it out with water to clean off the old ink, and it's ready to go again. So it's very economical. And I think that was all I used. Okay. And I just put it into a stamp case that you can order on my store too. All right. So let's get on with our third card. It's right here. And move some things out of the way here, make some room. Get some pieces out here so I can work with them. All right. And instructions off of there. I was trying to fix my stamp pad here, but it's not cooperating, so I'm just going to set it aside and work on it later. There's my bird again. All right, so for this one, it says, Happy birthday. And on the inside, sending a little love your way. And we're going to be using some yellows today. I'm going to be using the card base, which is our Lemon Lolly. And this is our standard size card. It's 5.5 by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4 inches. So we're going to burnish that fold line. There's somebody mowing. I guess it's my neighbor across the street. And then I have die cut a Daffodil Delight and a Lemon Lolly. And I'm using the textured notes dies. I used the 2 largest dies in the pack here. And the large one was this one, and then the second largest for the next size. I did the prep work ahead of time, so save a little time, hopefully. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm not going to attach those yet. I'm going to attach the Daffodil Delight to our card front first. Use my liquid glue, my Tombow. I think the birdie wants to be on the video. He's pecking on my window here and singing away. All right, so we're going to center that in the card front. I don't know if you can hear him or not. Maybe he thinks he's a canary. I don't know. Might be. He does kind of look like a canary. Very possible. All right, and then my second layer, I'm going to set that aside for a moment. We're going to start working on our jars. So what I'm going to do with this is I've got our designer series paper that comes from the Floral Delight designer series paper, the 12 by 12. And I'm going to be using this pattern right here. And I'm just going to stamp my jars directly onto that. So I'm going to bring that back over here. And I'm going to be using Old Olive. It says spam. I get a lot of spam calls and I forgot to mute my phone. All right, so we're going to stamp our jar onto our flower, and I'm going to pick out where I want that to be. So I'm going to put one, maybe one right there, and another. Let me turn this around. We're going to need 3 jars, and I'm just kind of making sure that I don't have the same flowers on each one. So kind of mix it up a little bit. Well, maybe right here. That looks good. And then one more could be maybe right there. We'll see what that looks like. I'll do that. We're not going to do the lids here in a moment. So bring my punch back over here, and we're going to punch those out. There's one. And my neighbor's lawnmower is loud. There's the second one. Oops, I bumped the camera, sorry. And our third jar. Okay. And I need to stamp my lids. I'm going to bring those out. Trying to decide which side I want to stamp the lid on. So I guess I'll keep it same as the jar, same side. Bring my lid stamp back over. Use Old Olive. Right. And I'm going to stamp my happy birthday. A little strip of basic white. Oops, that one's already been used. A skinny one here. I keep all my strips that I cut off of my cardstock so I can use those for stamping sentiments on. And I keep them in a jar, glass. All right, and we're going to go with happy birthday again. And I'm hoping this is wide enough to accommodate the stamp. Let me bring this down closer so I can see. And see if that'll fit on there. Yeah, it would if I stamp it straight. Let me try that again. Well, it might be a little bit too skinny, so let's go a little bigger here. I can always cut it down to size. There. We'll just cut it to make it smaller. All right, let me close that up. We'll work on the front of our card. And we're going to bring this back over here. And then I'm going to add my ribbon first, and I'm using that white ribbon. And I've got one piece that's about 7 inches. That's going to go across our bottom area. So let me bring my tearing tape out here. We're going to attach that. Bring my silicone mat over. And I'm going to place 2 strips at the bottom of this on each side to hold my ribbon in place. I'll put one on this side and another one on the other side. And I take the pick tool to pop those backings off. And hold that ribbon and run it across the bottom area. Keeping it fairly straight, hopefully. And you turn it over and look and see. I think that's good. So it's done. I'm going to add another layer of tearing tape over those to hold them down to make sure they don't come undone underneath. It looks like I'm running out of tearing tape on this roll. It's getting down to the end of it. And I'll pop those off also. Oops. Well, that didn't come off like it was supposed to. There. was grabbing the wrong side. And we're going to trim off that excess. What I did with my scissors. Ribbon scissors have disappeared. Here they are. Cut out that excess. And then this is going to go onto our card front. Make sure your ribbon is at the bottom area. And we're going to center that onto our Daffodil Delight die cut. Whoops, might help. I put some glue under there. Forgot to put glue on the rest of it. That's all right. We're going to just sneak it up underneath there. And there. All's well. All right, now we're going to place our jars. Kind of lay them how I think I might want them. And that looks good there. So we're going to attach that one. And this is a cute set. This is one of the new ones that is just coming out in the new catalog. So you might want to get it for your collection. Lots of ideas with it. And this one I'm going to place on dimensionals. Let's bring those back over here. Bird is back. And I'm going to run a strip of glue, oops, right across the top of that with the dimensionals on it to hold our lid in place. And we'll pop those dimensional backings off with our Take Your Pick tool. And that's going to go over the ribbon here. And I want to save a little room on the right side for our bow. That's why I didn't put it all the way over. And let's put those other lids on those jars. So the other one. I don't know what he's trying to tell me, that he wants in, or he's just saying hello, or what the deal is. He won't leave my window alone. All right, this is going to go onto our ribbon. I've already made the bow ahead of time. I give my mini glue dots, which have disappeared on me. Well, the box is there, but they aren't there. It's right in front of me. Could have bit me. And I'm going to take a pick tool to pop that off of that. And we're going to add this to this side of the ribbon, the right side of the ribbon. Kind of manipulate my tails there a little bit. Make them lay where I want them to lay. And we're going to snip off. This one's a little bit long, so we're going to shorten that. And bring back our sentiment over here. And I think I'm going to cut that down a little shorter, a little smaller. So I'm going to use my paper snips and see how straight I can cut. And there, trim down the top side also. Yeah, Not too bad. And that's going to go right across our little jar there that's been popped up on dimensionals. So I think I'll put it at an angle, then I don't have to worry about being straight or not. All right, there we have that so far. And then I've also got some gems that were on Last Chance. These are the Earth Tones Shimmer Gems, and they're on the Last Chance area. And they were $8.50, and they're marked down to $7.65. So you might want to check those out today or tomorrow to add to your order. Available while supplies last. And last I looked, they were still available to this morning. So hopefully they'll still be there when you get your order in. Okay, so we're going to use, I'm going to go with the green ones on this one. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to use the large. And it's only two sizes on these, so let's go with two large ones up here. Let's and then a small one on the other side. Okay, so there's our card on the front. Let's work on the inside. I've got our basic white innard. That's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got a strip of our designer series paper, and that measures 3 3/4 inches by 1/2 inch. And that's going to go onto the left side of that. And then we're going to stamp our sentiment, which is, again, I'm going to use that little one that looks like a little box kind of. And I'm going to use our old olive. And as you can see, I didn't attach this designer series paper yet. I want to stamp first to make sure I don't mess up. So we're going to stamp that in the upper right-hand corner, sending a little blank your way. And we're going to stamp the love in the center, but I'm going to use crushed curry for that. And right in the center of those two. Heard something fall. I guess a bird fell or something. He slipped down the wall or something. All right, now we're going to attach our designer series paper to that left side. He's distracting me. Guess he wants to be the star of the show. All right, and I said on the left side, leaving a border on those 3 sides. And now we can put that on the inside of our card. And center that. I had some sweet tea to drink, and I haven't even had any since I started. I forgot about it. Okay, so there's our third card for the day. It says, happy birthday. Sending a little love your way. And it's a really cheerful birthday card, I think. So let me clean this area up a little bit. We'll bring these cards back over. Show you what we've done. And I've got a mess here. You wouldn't believe what my desk looks like. All right. Put those in there out of the way. All right, so here's our first one, our fun fold. Our second one and our third one. So I don't know if I can get them all in view here. Well, I could take my banner off of there and that might help. Huh. No, that's not what I want. Well, I guess I can't take that one off. No. I can't fit them all there, so I'm just going to put them like this. So there's our 3 cards for today. I hope you enjoyed them. And be sure that you like and share the video if you're watching on Facebook. And if you're watching me on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button that's down below. And also click that little bell and you'll be notified when I go live. So I guess I'm right on time, just under an hour and a half. So I guess we did good today, even with all of my goof ups. So next week will be May 12th. And I will be back next Monday, May 12th, same time, same channels. So I hope you'll be able to come join me. I'm hoping to have more new products to show you next week. So I've got an order coming in this week yet, so I should be able to get something done up with those. I'm anxious to get started with new products. And don't forget, tomorrow you can order out of the new catalog. And bring that back over here. This catalog. And it's also in my online store. You can view the catalog on there also if you don't have one hard copy in your hands. So until next week, be sure you have a good rest of your week. Get some crafting time in for yourself. It's good for the soul, good for the mind, good for your sanity. So until next week, y'all have a good rest of the week. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.